station. The next station is Kew Gardens. As you leave the train, please step over the gap between the train and the platform.
Attention passengers, Kew Gardens will be next. Only the first 6 cars of this train will platform at Kew Gardens. If you're in one of the last 4 cars and would like to exit at Kew Gardens, it's time to walk forward. Once again, Kew Gardens next, first 6 cars on.
This station is Woodside.
Penn Station, last stop. Look around, gather your personal belongings, and watch the gap between the train and the platform. Penn Station, last stop.
Stop, Connolly Avenue. This is the train to Hoboken Terminal. Next stop, Bergen Line Avenue.
The Hudson River Waterfront has changed a lot over the years. It was once teeming with railroad traffic, but today it is hard to believe that manifest freights and a bustling commuter service ruled the Hudson shores. I am currently riding through Weehawken, on what was once the right-of-way for the New York, West Shore, and Buffalo Railway, which ran to Albany and beyond to Buffalo, hence the name. Our focus for this video, though, is only from here to Albany. The right-of-way still exists, but has changed hands a number of times over the decades. This portion of the right-of-way, as we see, now belongs to New Jersey Transit. The rest of the line to Albany now belongs to CSX Transportation and is known as the River Subdivision. Both lines connected where I boarded my train at Tunnel Avenue, North Bergen, which was once called New Durham. The connection has since been severed. The New York West Shore in Buffalo was created solely to compete with the New York Central. The Central didn't take too kindly to this, though, and made quick work of driving the NYWS&B into bankruptcy. After bankruptcy in 1885, the railroad was reorganized as the West Shore Railroad and became part of the New York Central. Under the New York Central, Weehawken became a major terminal. Over time, it boasted a large freight yard, engine service facilities, 2 grain elevators, car floating, tugboats, multiple ferry slips, and a marine repair facility. Also, up until 1953, the New York, Ontario, and Western Railway used Weehawken Terminal for some of their passenger trains. Weehawken Terminal's decline began in the early 1950s as freight activity started to dwindle. In 1959, ferry traffic had declined greatly, thanks in part to the opening of the Holland and Lincoln tunnels, as well as the George Washington Bridge. These new roadways gave commuters and tourists another means of accessing New York City. As such, the New York Central decided that the ferry business was no longer profitable and terminated all ferry service. This created a snowball effect and led to passenger train service being terminated as well. Finally, in 1961, both the passenger station and ferry terminal burned down. Rail traffic in Weehawken continued to dwindle following the end of passenger and ferry service. Both grain elevators, Pier 7 and Pier 8, were gone by 1962. Car floating across the river also eventually came to an end, and without car floating, there was no need for the massive freight yard. Railroads had fallen on hard times and tough decisions had to be made. The New York Central and their arch rival, the Pennsylvania Railroad, merged to form Penn Central on February 1st, 1968. Freight continued to move through the Weehawken area under Penn Central and during the Conrail days as well. However, the area was a shell of its former self. As evidenced in this picture, by 1979, the area that was once filled with rail resembled nothing more than a barren wasteland. In the following years, condos and businesses began to develop on the waterfront. What trackage still remained under Conrail was abandoned in 2002, following the splitting of Conrail between CSX and Norfolk Southern. The right-of-way here was eventually sold to New Jersey Transit and was slated to become part of the Hudson-Bergen Light Rail system, which by 2002 had already begun taking shape south of here. The old freight tracks were ripped up, and the Weehawken Tunnel, the one that we rode through at the beginning of this light rail ride, was rehabbed. The Hudson-Bergen Light Rail station at Port Imperial and the ferry terminal at Port Imperial were both opened by 2006. It is through organizations such as the New York Central System Historical Society and the Conrail Historical Society that we can look through windows to the past. I would like to thank my friend Nick Ariema of the New York Central System Historical Society for helping me out with my research and providing me with and allowing me to use the photos of the waterfront during the days of the NYC. I would also like to thank the Conrail Historical Society's photo archives for allowing me to use the photos of the Conrail trains from John C. Durant's Conrail collection. I hope you all enjoyed the history, but I think it's time for me to give my voice a rest and let you guys enjoy the rest of the ride.
New York ferries, PATH trains, and New Jersey Transit rail and bus service. Thank you for riding the Hudson-Bergen Light Rail. Please see the small...
Express after Glen Rock.
Okay, so it goes everything to Glen Rock.
We don't make Garfield, we don't make West.
So everything is city courses?
We make Rutherford, Waterville, Ludwig, Belleville, Radford, Glen Rock.
Okay, got it.
Ready now.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? We apologize for the delay. We're waiting for a train to pass. Thank you for your patience.
Set it up.
Who will be next? Middletown will be our last